penis isn't going to hold me down. Too late. No. We know you love us, but the information on our podcast is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. I understand I'm both an LPC and an LMFT. However, this is not intended as a substitute for professional services of any kind. If you or anyone you know needs professional help, please seek mental health services.
Hey, this is Zorric.
And Emma.
Host of the Day podcast. How's it going, Emma?
It's going well.
Good.
Fall is here, I guess.
It is here, and the leaves are falling, and they're changing color.
And I'm having hot flashes.
Hot flashes? Why?
Mm-hmm. Well, you go into the sun, and the sun is, like, on you, and it's, like, hot and intense.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Then you start sweating because the sun is so hot, and you're wearing a sweater and boots. And then you go into the shade, and then you start freezing because there's no sun there.
Mm-hmm.
So
hot, cold.
Hot flashes all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how I am.
Oh, me too. I have hot flashes at night sometimes. Do you have that?
Yes and no, but I also sleep with like 3 blankets.
A billion blankets.
I do.
You just take them off.
And pillows all around me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I had to do? Mm-hmm. That day that we were recording and you played that stupid scary
Go ahead.
song.
Go ahead. What did I do?
You played a scary song and I had my back turned to your bathroom. And so if you guys have recorded, like the bathroom door is behind me and it was open and his closet was open and I swear I thought something was going to come out and scare me because that's usually my life. But at night when I went back to my place, I had it seriously, like I had to like tuck myself in, build a fort of like pillows all around my body.
Yeah.
And like I had to sleep with like my like on my back and like not move because I was like, oh my gosh, like someone's gonna hurt me. Like I can't have my back towards like the ceiling because if the person like kills me in my sleep, like
Hold on, what happened to the mindfulness talk that you give me? You're like, be in the moment, focus on right now. No one's gonna get
I tried that,
you.
and it didn't work because my anxiety was through the roof.
Well, if no one's heard that episode, that was the last episode. If you haven't heard it, it's called Emma Gets Scared.
Yep.
And she does really get scared.
I really do get scared, you guys. So
today, what we're going to talk about is travel. And sex. Did you know that people would rather travel more than sex or travel than sex? I don't know. Sex is really great.
I am all on board with this article.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about the statistics in this article and everything that goes with it. But Emma, first. Yes. First,
if this is your first time listening to us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Please.
Because we are on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and anywhere else that you guys listen to your podcast.
That's what the subscribe sounds like when you...
Does it really?
Yep.
Are you sure you just didn't want to touch your soundboard? Gosh, that sounds so horrible.
Oh, you want to go there, huh?
Nope. Okay. Not going there. Anyway, so leave us a review telling us how much you enjoy listening to us, how much you're fascinated by us. Just, praising us.
Please.
Yeah, leave us 5 stars. If you have any comments, questions, or topics that you want us to discuss, send us an email, hello@datepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter @datepodcast.
Nice. So, Emma, is there something in the world today that you want to tell us about?
There's a few things that I want to talk about. I got to figure out. Okay, I think I chose one. Okay.
What do you got?
So, I know this is for next year, but I don't care. Game of Thrones is coming next year.
It is coming next year. I'm happy.
I waited long enough. I think it's been a year that we haven't had anything.
I can't wait to see the ending, whatever it's going to be. But you've read all the books, so you kind of know what's happening.
No, I did not read the books.
Oh, okay.
No.
You strike me as a book reader.
Yes. Typically I am, but the size of these books are bigger than bricks, and the font is super small. And it took me, I think, 1.5 years to get through the first one.
No one has time for that.
Exactly.
That's a lot of reading.
And I know if I listen to it like an audio, I will probably fall asleep.
I tried that. I read that or listen to it on an airplane one time, and I just fell asleep.
Yeah.
It's great. Great for falling asleep, everyone. But the shows are so great. I mean,
the shows are amazing.
Yeah.
So I am trying not to read stuff about Game of Thrones, and at the same time, it's like I like reading stuff about Game of Thrones.
Okay. Is it like gonna spoil?
It's not gonna spoil anything. So basically, Kit Harington, who plays Jon Snow on the show, apparently said that he didn't want to read the scripts in advance, and so they do a table read, right, where the whole cast gets together and reads the scripts.
Yeah.
You're laughing or smiling. Why?
No, I'm just picturing Jon Snow. I'm Jon Snow. Is that how he talks?
Sure.
Is he in his?
You watch the show.
I do, but I mean, like in a table read, or is it just like talking? You're just like.
Well, I mean, it's a table read, so it can go many ways.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so he didn't read the scripts in advance, waited till the table read, and then apparently didn't know. So he was, I guess, the only one that didn't know how much of a roller coaster it was going to be, like an emotional roller coaster, and he said that he like openly wept twice.
Oh my gosh.
During this reading. And I'm like, if he cried and he's reading the script just during the table read, what kind of emotional trauma am I gonna go through watching this show? Because I've been really attached to characters, and I'm someone like I'm personally like attached to them. Like,
yeah, you're invested.
I'm super invested. Like, spoiler, like on my birthday, the worst thing that could have happened watching Game of Thrones. I wore black for a whole week because I was like mourning.
Yeah, and then you're invested. Like, how many years has this been, Emma?
I don't know.
5 years?
I was in grad school when it started, I think, or it was before I started grad school.
Yeah, so you're like emotionally invested. You invested so much time. It's like a relationship.
It is, with this show that's beautiful and stupid at the same time because it breaks my heart, and I'm a glutton for punishment. We all are if we watch it.
We are.
We're all glutton for punishment. We all know what we're getting ourselves into, and then we're just like, this is great. This is amazing. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's crying twice in front of everyone. And like, I don't know. Oh
wow. Well, I guess maybe he was acting. Maybe it was just fake.
No, I don't think he was acting. I think he's just so like, he's so invested in his character too. Like he plays Jon Snow, and it's like,
maybe he was just having a bad day. Maybe
I don't think that he was.
Broke up with him.
His wife. He's married now.
Oh, my bad.
And so like, but one of the time he said that he cried was at the very end when they reached the last page of episode 6.
Ooh. Maybe that's when he dies. If he dies.
I just, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna need so much wine. Like I'm already prepping like Game of Thrones parties,
I can't wait. I'm just
parties.
so excited for the rest of it.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of like, you know, I kind of like the time in between though, because you know it's gonna end, but it hasn't ended yet.
It hasn't ended yet, and part of me like doesn't want to start so it never ends.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I feel too.
Yeah,
I like it.
But I love the show so much.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
That's how I feel.
Well, turn that frown upside down and let's talk about sex.
Can we talk about travel versus sex?
Let's talk about sex, right?
You like talking about sex too much sometimes. I think you're like, Emma,
this is my sexual
talk
song.
about sex, but really it's you.
This is
there you go.
how we have sex, right?
Okay. That's how you have sex. That's not how we have sex.
Okay. So this is what we're going to talk about. It's why some millennials think travel is more important than sex.
I think I'm one of those.
Well, you see, Emma, on all of these, or I see on all of these dating apps, the bios say, I love to travel, I love to travel, I love to travel. And I thought that was a cop-out and it was just fluff. But there's meaning to this. There is meaning to the I love to travel.
There is.
And this article is from the Vox, right? VoxMedia.com. And a new study shows that millennials will give up Netflix, alcohol, and even sex for travel. So in this survey, they talked to people between 18 and 35. And they found out, there's 1,500 people that were surveyed. They found out that 80% of millennials say they would give up Netflix for travel, which is easy, duh, right?
Yeah. Because, okay. I mean, when you're traveling, you're not necessarily watching Netflix.
Yeah,
so like totally get it.
If I'm at home and I'm watching Netflix, I'd rather be traveling. Hell yeah. Right? So that's easy. 73% say they would give up alcohol for traveling.
No, I travel to drink.
Yeah, true that.
I travel to drink and shop.
Well, maybe they're not connected. Like, it's like, would you rather be at a bar drinking or traveling somewhere?
I'd rather be traveling somewhere to a bar and drink.
These are dumb questions. And then this is the tough one. 57% say they would even give up sex for travel. So if I was having sex with a woman and someone knocked on our door,
on a plane.
and someone knocked on the door, it was a travel agent that said, "Hey, I know you're in mid-stroke or whatever is going on. Would you go on this trip to Vegas?"
Can you make it more appealing? Like, Vegas is not appealing to me.
Well, travel, maybe Iceland. Here we go. Iceland. I don't know if I wouldn't say yes.
Again, know your audience. You're picking the wrong country for this person right here.
Okay. London.
Okay.
There you go. If you're having sex with a man and you guys are just going to Pound Town, and all of a sudden
that's attractive.
You get a text or a call from somebody that says, "Hey, let's jump on a plane right now and let's go to London." What would you say?
Bye.
Would you?
It's London, dude.
So, yeah.
I love London. I've been twice. I love it. I want to go again.
Yeah. So, but then does that mean that you just won't ever have sex ever again?
I don't think that's what it means. I think it's just saying, like, if you have the choice between, like, get laid or travel, more people are going to pick travel. You're probably the person, you're what is 43% that are going to pick sex over travel, and that's okay. That's okay. It is what it is.
I don't like this question, but what else would you give up for sex?
I've given up before. Oh, for sex. Oh, I thought you meant for travel.
Okay.
Sex. I don't know. Like I've been celibate. Like
So you would give up a lot.
Yeah.
A cup of coffee.
No, like
Candy.
I'm saying, like I'm celibate, so like it's not.
Oh, but
like it's not like if you were to put like, okay, so like I just went to the store and bought like 2 bags of chocolate because it was on sale from Halloween and whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you're telling me like you can't have your M&Ms or Snickers anymore, but you can have all the sex you want, I'm gonna be like, that's stupid.
But you're celibate, so maybe you don't understand the beauty.
Maybe.
And the magic of intercourse. Okay. Blank stare.
I feel fulfilled.
By what? What fulfills you? So what fills the hole that sex leaves?
Gross. I plan things. I host things.
But wouldn't you rather be having sex?
Cook.
Cooking or sex? Which one would you do?
Cooking. I have to eat. Do you not know me?
But you can eat later. Okay.
No, trust me. If I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Like it's over. Like my mom makes sure that she has snacks, or like when we go travel together, like we plan stuff around meal times because she knows if I'm hungry or like if my sister's hungry, like it's over.
Yeah.
Like we're like when my amazing friend, she and I would travel, we like plan stuff around meal times too because we both knew each other.
Yeah, I feel like, Emma, you would not give up anything for travel. I think if someone said travel or this, Emma, you'd be like travel every time.
Now, if you were to be like travel or Game of Thrones, that might be a dilemma, but I still think I'm going to pick travel.
Yeah, but it's because I think everybody loves to travel. Some people haven't traveled. I'm
curious to know, like, what about you? Like, if somebody were to say, like, hey, Zorric, like, travel or not have sex, like...
Oh, it depends. Like, how good is the sex? You know?
It's the sex that you're having now.
Oh, well. There's no sex happening right this moment. So it just depends also, like, where. Right? If I'm going to some podunk town in Texas,
no,
then I'm like, nah, heck no.
Mm-hmm.
But sex is important to me. That's why. Yeah. Very important to me. Travel is important too. But I don't know if I can give up sex for travel. Yeah. So I'm in the bottom majority here.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Some, you know, some of our listeners are probably like, yeah, Zorric's right. And some of them are like, yeah, Emma's right. And it is what it is.
Yeah. So for you, nothing else can trump travel except for Game of Thrones, basically.
And not even really. That's just the first thing that popped into my mind. I'm trying to think, like, what, like, seriously, like, what choice I would have that would be, like, compared to, like, this or that would make me really question traveling.
Would you go to grad school or travel for that duration of grad school?
I mean, I traveled while in grad school.
Oh. Well, what
I
if
took
you
a semester off so I could travel.
What if you can only choose one or the other? So you have the opportunity to backpack across Europe for 1 year. Okay. So you wouldn't say yes or no on that one, or maybe not backpack. Maybe just take the train. Take that train that goes up throughout the whole country, all the countries.
That's a good one because I value education for myself, and so like that's a value that I have. So
you would put education over travel?
I think so.
Yeah, I think me too. Me too. I don't care where you tell me. Because in the end, and
I say education, and I also, like, that includes knowledge. Like, I think that I know that they're not the same, but for me, like, they are.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't mean, like, grad school. Like, it just means knowledge in general.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, I considered giving up my day job so I could go travel.
So travel is more important than your career. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. For me, too.
Yeah.
I'd rather travel and do nothing and just like...
But okay, so what's interesting though is like we're saying this and then and so this article that we're talking about, which I think we're just hitting like all the millennial things.
This is millennials.
Like I think we're just because but like I think because we're millennials, like we're being very cliche about what would we pick travel over? Like our career,
I'm trying to think,
our job, or education. Like these are like if travel versus your career, travel versus your education / knowledge, like that makes it a more difficult choice. And I think that as millennials, like we aspire to travel. And so like they even say here that like millennials travel 35 days out of the year. Gen Z 29 days and baby boomers 27 days. And so we spend more time traveling than these other generations. And so I think that does speak to the fact that like this is why we're giving the answers, because we value traveling.
Yeah.
We're stereotypical right now.
I think traveling is much better than working 9 to 5, but there's a term here called transformative travel.
Which cracked me up, the self-actualization traveling.
But and that is what is transformative travel? Emma, it's somewhere here.
It is.
But there is another research that they reference, and it tells us here what transformational travel is.
Zorric did his research.
And it is Skift, which is a travel report done in 2018, defines transformative travel as any travel experience that empowers people to make meaningful, lasting changes in their lives, whether big or small. That's what transformative travel is.
You know what? Let me tell you when I travel, what I'm about.
Drinks and men.
And shopping. I don't need to self-actualize that. I don't need to self-actualize on these trips. I'm not about that. I think for me, it's about like how much fun can I have in this amount of time? How much art can I see in this amount of time? How many things can I do in this amount of time?
So what's happening in your situation is you're becoming a better person. You're transforming. You're being open to new things.
Yeah, but I don't need this thing to tell me that.
Yeah, but this is in the back of really what's happening. Like in the
I'm
front.
Confused.
And so when you go on vacation, you're learning new things, like you just said, trying new things.
I like art.
Yeah, so
I like to try whiskey.
So when you look at art, when you try new whiskey, you're transforming. Like it's a taste that you've never tried or some piece of art you've never seen. So I guess
I'm self-actualizing on my trip.
Yes, you are. But you can call it what you may. But you are.
I wanted it to be shallow. Why can't you just let me be shallow?
No, this is a deep-ass conversation right now.
No, I want to be shallow, damn it.
Okay, be shallow then. Go ahead. Continue.
I love shopping.
Okay.
And I love going to markets.
Okay.
And buy things for me. I bring a suitcase for things that I buy and souvenirs because, again, I love buying people stuff when I'm traveling.
Mm-hmm. And according to their survey, it said 54% of respondents said transformation was an important aspect of vacationing. So maybe you're probably on the bottom. It's not very important to you. But I think when you get on a plane, when you go anywhere that you've never been before, you transform, period.
I transform into sleep.
You transform into sleep?
Yeah, I sleep. I wake up for meals only.
Oh my God. You
I'm not joking.
Eat, sleep, shop, and drink, and men, and that's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when you're on a dating app and someone says, "Oh, I love to travel," and then he or she lists all of these photos of them on these trips, do they seem to you more, I guess, attractive because they've been to all these places?
I wouldn't say attractive. I would say more open.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Because I know that as girls, we like to post those pictures because a lot of mine are usually that.
Yeah, well, I guess what the article talks about is that a person who posts all those pictures, it makes them seem very adventurous, which is someone I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, which, to me, if they have their money, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine as well. And interested in their own self-development, which is the whole transformative travel thing again. But yeah, I think that to me, I think that's very attractive. I just don't like it when people say, "I love to travel," because everyone loves to travel. Just put your photos on your dating app and show us that you love to travel. Don't tell us. Yeah.
Okay. So speak with your pictures.
Yeah.
Not your words.
Don't tell us. Show us.
Okay.
And then the article goes on to say the average millennial life is also plagued with financial obligation, so which leaves less room for transformative experiences during the day and day-to-day, which day-to-day is what? Work.
Working
you can't transform you can't transform at work, which you can kind of. But you feel locked into a job and routine. And it's just not very meaningful. And what travel helps us do is it obviously you got the pictures and the experiences, and but it also, again, you learn new things, you transform, and that's the whole point of this research.
I just kind of thought it was funny that there's travel companies that are making a little niche out of this, that they're transformative travel.
It could be.
I mean, the only time that I want to get woke is when I go to Costa Rica for yoga stuff.
Yeah. No, and you could be right. Companies, they try to build a market for themselves, and maybe this company, which I think Skift is one of those companies that that takes people to different places, like Iceland, like China. And so maybe they're trying to say, hey, if you want to transform, because today there's a lot of books on self-development.
Yeah.
That's a big topic that you see that's booming. And maybe this is
because we all want a quick fix, and no one wants to go to therapy and actually do the work.
Oh, you have to do work to change?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We had this conversation. So I had a meetup the other day.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about, can people change?
Yes.
And I posed the question. Half the group said, actually, everyone said no.
They're wrong.
And I think people can change a little bit. I don't think they can change. It's just not in my experience.
You can change. So what happens is that whole phrase of like, you can't teach a dog new tricks is unrealistic, and it's not true, because our brain does create new neural pathways. We just have to keep practicing them. The thing is that why people don't believe that we change, it's because, so like, we get used to our patterns and our routine, even though like people are like, I hate patterns and routine. Like our brain gets used to it. We get used to it. And the moment that we want to create something new, our brain is like, all right, we can go this way. Cool. Let's make this connection. And somehow, because the other neural pathway of our old connection is stronger, we tend to revert to that rather quickly instead of creating this new connection. So it makes change a lot more difficult. So people can change.
Yeah. So how would you implement like change in someone's life with this transformative travel? Is there any linkage, or is there something you'd say, hey, maybe you should go on a trip somewhere, and maybe that'll help you?
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, and it has to be very like tailored to them. Like they also have to value travel. It's just really dependent on the person. But people can change. So when people, because my sister and I were having this conversation because we were watching a show, and she made the comment of like, oh, once a cheater, always a cheater. And I said, not always.
Yeah, true. Yeah, not always.
I said, if whoever is cheating and finds all his needs or her needs being met through this new partner, I said, then this person doesn't feel like they need to go look for these needs somewhere else.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's not about the person who is cheated on, it's the person who is cheating. Like it's their issues that they need to work on.
Yeah. Do you think I'm trying to tie what you're saying back to this research, but do you think if someone cheated, you think it'd be a good recommendation for them to go on a trip?
It depends on the person.
Yeah, because
I'm not gonna tell a homebody to go travel if it's like a thing like where they can't leave the house or they like their routine. Like I'm not gonna be like go to Europe.
Yeah, because
like we have to work towards that. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the research it also goes to say that 51% of people when they travel they gain a new perspective.
Yeah.
43% said I learned something new. And 30% said I had a reflective moment. So there's a lot to be said about transformational travel.
And I think that we forget. Like I think we think of travel as like long trips. A lot of times, like they can be very short trips, and so I like that they ended the article with the paragraph of like a historical brewery tour.
Oh, local. Something local.
Something local. Like
yeah.
I am begging one of my friends for us to pick a date when her schedule's not so busy for us to go hiking. Like I get to go hiking for one of the first times in my life, really, because that's something that I wanted to do. So we get to drive to, I don't know where we're going, but we're driving somewhere.
Probably here.
Probably because she wants to make sure I survive.
Yeah. And there's like a hospital nearby.
Yeah.
Or
wine.
Or wine.
At the end of the hike.
Yeah. And then again, let me go back to this that millennials jet set for 35 days out of the year. How many days do you jet set?
I was really bummed to think last year was the first year I didn't get to travel since I turned 18. Yeah. So I didn't really get to, Florida, I didn't count that because I didn't count it. And so I didn't go international anywhere.
Maybe this is just jet setting in general.
Maybe.
Leaving your city.
I'm fortunate enough now that I have the job that I get the summer off.
Yeah.
So I am planning on leaving.
Yeah.
For a while in the summer.
Okay. Well, that's good. You get 2 months off.
A little more than that.
A little more. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see this trend, I feel like, in Europe, like they go on more vacations than us, right?
Yes, and they call them holidays.
Holidays, and that's holiday, and that we're trending that way. It seems like.
I think our generation is, because our generation, is very aware of, like, if we get fired, there's someone that can very quickly replace you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, work is not valued more than travel.
Right.
Like, we would rather experience things than go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Boring work.
And I think, again, like, you get mad at me when I say this, but, like, our generation gets to self-actualize and realize that, like, our life isn't just on work and getting married and having kids. Like, we get to have experiences that our parents and our grandparents didn't get to have.
Yeah.
And we actually, like, choose to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. It's easier to get to remote places.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting cheaper. But do you think that people are influenced by social media again? Like, I'm seeing all my friends, or you're seeing all your friends travel to these cool remote places, and I'm like, oh man, I want to go too. Do you feel that there is something like, I want to do the same thing, or look at me, I'm cool and I want to be like them?
I think that when I first started, it wasn't like that.
Okay.
And I think that it was maybe like a few years ago, but now this is more about me and, like, what I want to do for myself. Like, I don't have to post it on social media if I don't want to. Yeah,
because sometimes I see those photos with people traveling. I'm like, I want to be there too.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, let's book something right now. Because...
Like, our supposed New Year's Eve, we were supposed to go to London and ring New Year's.
Oh, yeah. I don't even think that was not going to happen anyway.
No, that was not going to happen.
That was just...
It was too late of a night, and we just, like, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. In the morning, we were all like, what did we agree to?
No, that was like, we were trashed on wine, and it was one of those conversations, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, sure, let's go. And then nothing happens.
No. Love it.
No. Okay, Emma, I think that's it for this. We've talked about travel. This is really more about travel than anything. What are your last words?
My last words are travel as much as you can, because traveling is good. Traveling is fun.
It is fun. And
bring me back something.
Okay. You're talking about the audience.
I'm talking to the audience too.
Okay.
Mail me stuff.
Awesome. We'll post the address online.
We'll post your address online.
Okay. What I say is that everyone values different things differently. And although sex is important, I think for me, experiencing new things is almost equally important. But it just...
I feel like you would pick sex, though.
It just depends on how good the sex is. If it's like shitty sex, I'm like, hell yeah, let me go to...
I still think you'd pick sex.
If it's shitty sex, I'll go to like Hillsboro. Or I'll go like to like Texarkana. Yeah, for shitty sex. So I guess maybe it has to be equal. Like, if it's really, really good sex, like knock my socks off sex, which I don't wear socks during sex, but if it was that good, it'd be hard to change.
I still think I would pick travel
over sex.
Like, even if it was like the best sex I've ever had,
best sex
I would still
had.
Pick travel.
Like, this guy is rocking your world. Yeah. You'll never get anything better than this guy.
Yeah.
And the stipulation is you could never have sex with him again.
Okay.
And you'll never get that level of sexual activity in your life.
Okay.
And you still pick travel?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Explain.
A penis isn't going to hold me down. Too late. No.
Okay. Well, that's
I said that on purpose too. It's not. A penis isn't going to stop me from doing anything.
Yeah, okay. I mean, of course not. It shouldn't.
No. So that's why I'm not going to pick a penis.
What if it was the best penis ever?
I don't care. A penis isn't going to hold me down.
It was like... Okay, I'm trying to think of something else. But okay. So what I learned is that penises don't hold Emma down.
Nope.
And travel as much as you can. And at the end of the day, it just depends on what you value.
Yes.
Okay.
You're learning the therapy.
I feel like it. Like people ask me questions, even at the meetup, and I'm like, I don't know. It depends. Depends what you value. Like,
Yes.
Rolling my eyes.
We're converting you.
Rolling my eyes.
You hang out with too many therapists.
I do.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
You're
but
welcome
I feel
so
more
much.
enlightened and transformed. I make better decisions for sure.
Good.
Yeah. Actually,
throughout
this whole podcast, I think I've learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why Emma and I are going to write a book. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I just announced it.
Oh.
It's going to happen.
Sometimes you need to just wait to make these announcements.
No, it's not. I mean, we've talked about it before, haven't we? On the podcast? Or in public?
Probably in public.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully it comes out soon.
It'll have my face on it.
And it'll say, travel more because sex sucks. No, just kidding. Or it'll say,
I'm not saying sex
or it'll
sucks.
say, a penis will never hold me down.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the title of our book. The penis isn't holding me down.
No penis envy
will
here.
Not hold me down.
I got you. Okay. So I think we're done, Emma.
I hope so for the sake of our listeners.
I know. Okay. So how can they find us and all that?
Well, you guys can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Date Podcast. You can also leave us an email with information, questions, thoughts, or topics at hello@datepodcast.com.
All right. Bye.
Bye.